Welcome back to HGC Europe. It is time for our final series of the league here as we finish out Week 10. Fnatic taking on the Playing Ducks. It's going to be a good one to end all of this with.
The rematch.
The with.
Yep, after we had the last time the Ducks actually being successful. I think Fnatic wants to maintain their record because they are currently 16-0.
That's right. Since that Dignitas matchup, they've been quite undefeated. In fact, since the Playing Ducks, they have had a total of 33-2 in their record, which has been pretty outstanding. They were undefeated at the Western Clash, came out faced off against Dignitas, went to game number 5, but ever since then, they have not dropped a single map against any other team except for Dig. Fnatic, man, has been killing it, and they have their eyes still set on BlizzCon, but they have to get to the Ducks. Are the Ducks the kryptonite that we have been talking about for the last couple weeks?
Well, we're going to find out today. It could still be 19-0 if Fnatic is able to take the Ducks out without losing a single map. So far in this entire part 2, the only 2 maps that they dropped, as I said before, are the ones against Dignitas, and that was always a huge rivalry between the two teams. So it's going to be a pretty good game here today either way. Fnatic, of course, confirmed for BlizzCon, but they could show us some new stuff that they started to prepare.
Let's go and look at the standings here, get an idea of where all of our teams currently reside. Actually, let's go ahead and look at the schedule. We're going to go ahead and skip on through. Let's get this started here as we look at the schedule. Zealots and Good Guys happening earlier here. Zealots got a 3-1 over the Good Guys. Good series overall. Game number 4, not so much what Good Guys wanted to pull off, but still great.
Yeah, I mean, as Mopsy said, there was a lot of pressure on them. There were a lot of nerves in the series. Now, on the other hand, after they were victorious, we're going to look to Fnatic versus the Ducks. And then later on in North America, we have Even in Death. Also confirmed for the Crucible at this point, going up against Lag Force. It's all about the position here for a lot of the teams, with Tempo Storm then at the end of the day facing off against Team Freedom.
Fnatic and the Playing Ducks. Sport Billy versus Breeze. Not something I thought I would be saying this season, but it is now something that we have to consider.
Yeah, definitely. With the change that the Ducks have made, they now look stronger than ever, now that they have their front line sorted out. And Sport Billy, even though in the last few games he only had a week or two where he could prepare for the new position, it was just fantastic for them having that shot caller in that spot where he just dictates the entire pace of the fights, makes sure when they engage, and then can also call out the targets. So given a bit more time with that role, the team is of course going to grow even more, and that's something that we definitely can look forward to, and it might already show today against Fnatic.
Well, before we jump into it, our players have came in and dropped some insights for you guys to listen to as we get ready for the series.
Our chance not ending up in the Crucible, I think even after last week, still feels really slim, even though we just turned up a bit too late. We basically have to win against Fnatic. Obviously, we did it once before already, but I think for it to happen twice is kind of unlikely. They only have lost one series in the past few months, and it was only against us. Maybe we have a chance, but we kind of, like, my mind's already on the Crucible, but I'm pretty confident.
We have our goal set for the most important match, which is going to be Fnatic in the last week, to defend our world champion title.
The Playing Ducks are looking much stronger than they did the last time we faced them. I think they have improved a lot over the time of HGC, and I think swapping Billy to tank is the right call. We should be stronger, but you know, anything can happen, and we haven't really prepared that much. So yeah, apparently we're 13-0 in win streak right now, so I think we really want to surpass what Roll20 did in NA, and we're gonna do so in a relevant region.
Did Shrimpy really just say that?
Yes, he did.
Shots fired.
Like he said at last year, sometimes you lose, sometimes you play against an A. Shrimpy's words. But yeah, at that point when we actually recorded it, it was like 13-0. We went over it again. They are 16-0 at this point. That of course includes also the final map that they won against Dignitas in that series, if someone is wondering how that could even be possible. But yeah, they broke the record of Roll20 already, at least when it comes to the win streak. Of course, Roll20 has still a very impressive record over there in North America. But Fnatic has still a chance to go for an even bigger win streak than ever, at least in the Western scene.
And we'll have some people cheering for them, obviously, here. So let's go ahead and check out the top 5 cheers for each of our teams. At the top, Gladman with 110,900 on Fnatic.
Yeah, Fnatic leading the charts here, and for very good reason. Sigma Hopeful Skies. What?
Random Madame, I think is what it
Random
said.
man. Okay, random man.
That's what we'll go with.
Really?
Lice #1 here with 14,000. Little Adman bringing in the top 5 with 6,000.
But wouldn't random man have 2 M's in the middle?
I missed it. I just saw the Rando Madame and I just kind of read over it. and went
Yeah,
all the way
me
down to number
too.
5. Like it's one of those names like, you're really long. You got a lot of O's in there. I'm not feeling it.
I'm actually like, no, you have to put an extra M in there if you want to
Mhm.
go for random man, right? And I think a dash in English.
We'll call him Rando for short. Easy.
Okay, so random Adam. You know, like Josh is flip-flopping a lot today. Like first it's that, then it's that. It's just like,
Constantly going over the place. Well, let's go ahead and get ready for this series here. The Battleground is ready. Let's find out where we'll start game number 1 in this best of 5 series. Oh boy. Oh no. Oh boy.
That's not the start that you want.
That is not.
The best map of Fnatic by far, where they are destroying opponents left and right, is starting us off Sky Temple. Especially Dignitas has... I mean, Dignitas hates this map right now against Fnatic. They played it in the winner bracket final at Mid-Season Brawl against Fnatic and lost. They played it in the grand final as the last map against Fnatic and lost. And if I'm not wrong, in the last series that they played here in HGC in Part 2, the last map was also Sky Temple, and they lost. So, Sky Temple, not only against Dignitas, just overall for Fnatic.
Yeah.
Really good map.
It's one of their battlegrounds. They enjoy going here. So let's go ahead and move into Sky Temple and see if the Playing Ducks can pull something out of their hat.
Yeah, and the last time we even saw that Chancel again. I'm really curious to see how the Ducks are going to present themselves here today. That's the thing that I'm really looking forward the most right now. I want to see how Sport Billy has now just grown into that tank role, how strong they are here today. And with what we've seen last weekend already from them, that was fantastic. So I'm very curious to see how strong they are and if they can take a map or two of Fnatic.
The best part about the Playing Ducks and Sport Billy coming in and playing the tank role is that he has played a variety of tanks. There's not one thing that he's locked to. You're not expecting a Johanna to come out or a Diablo. So when it comes to these two teams, we don't know what warrior we're going to get, but we know anytime that it is built up, either by Breeze or, of course, Sport Billy, we're in for a show.
Uther as the first pick on the side of the Playing Ducks, so the options of synergy with Genji and also with ETC. Fnatic has played a lot of global strategies on this map. Now we have several attempts or several different styles that they can play. We all remember the double support Vala style, where you are trying to head into a Chen on a later pick so that you can push through lanes. You're trying to trade experience and structures against lane experience and get an early lead against your opponent. We've seen a lot of global play where with the Haka ETC early on in the draft they can start their global pressure. They have played Brightwing on this map. We've seen them with a lot of fall style play. When it comes to Sky Temple, Fnatic has just a variety of completely different styles that they can always pull off against you.
I'm curious to see whether or not the Vala will be a little bit higher in priority for Fnatic to take it away from the Playing Ducks. We've been seeing a lot of that Vala play from Chris. Moving away from it in the last couple of weeks, did a little bit more of that Lenara in the mix, but still, always one that if the chance is available, you're probably going to have Vala picked up by Chris. And the Ducks now will have to consider whether or not they want to grab it here, as Uther, Genji, and ETC have been grabbing the first 3 rotations.
Exactly. So both of the synergy is taken away from the Ducks with Uther's Divine Shield. So of course as a healer he still can make a huge amount of plays here. But as you said, Vala is an option for the Ducks at this point. They also can think about banning out Rega if they want to limit the healer options for Fnatic. But then again, Fnatic has played so many different styles here. They made Brightwing work on this map as a solo heal, which in the current iteration of Brightwing, basically no one else has successfully pulled off on a regular basis. But for them, it's all about having the global mobility here on the hero, more so than that big heal during fights.
Yeah, we've had a sprinkle of Brightwing when she was buffed, getting that E to have the spell shield coming in, but certainly has fallen off in the last few weeks.
But also mostly as a second healer even coming into it. So as a solo heal, Fnatic is one of the few teams that successfully made her work, and that was of course during the mid-season brawl. But right now the Ducks going into that Vala that we expected, and they have a very high priority here for Leoric on the map.
Leoric coming into the mix here. Going to be able to try and match maybe some globals that do come their way, or they want to be able to be quite the nuisance around the fights with that level 13, but will they be able to get it in time when it comes to Sky Temple? Usually around the second shrine is where Fnatic starts to really take off in this battleground.
So, Fnatic with a ban potential. Again, for the Ducks, it could be the ban on Rhaegar that we are going to see here, since Rhaegar was not picked up early on. Most of the teams, if Uther has already claimed, will try and get the healer in the first rotation. Fnatic is a bit more versatile when it comes to their healers. And talking about that, Lucio is now covered as a ban. And that again comes back to the style that the Zealots have introduced to HGC in Europe, where they oftentimes use Lucio as a utility support that is able to speed the team up, help them to disengage from fights, help them to chase down opponents, or just simply, of course, provide that overtime heal. So it's something that Fnatic just doesn't really want to deal with here.
Dragon Blade, Malthael Tormented Souls, these big moments where you have the heroic coming out to shut down the opposing team. Sound Barrier really stops that. Also, the other benefits that were mentioned by Caldor. Also, with the Lucio being banned out, Playing Ducks don't want to deal with the possibility of a Malthael, and they go ahead and take it out.
Yeah, with Malthael now being banned and the Auric already grabbed, it's absolutely obvious that we're going to see Cho'Gall.
Second time that joke has come out, and it's still funny, Caldor.
I still want it.
It's still funny.
I still want Cho'Gall.
Fnatic, have they ever ran Cho'Gall?
Not for Fnatic, for the Ducks.
Well, for the Ducks, but has Fnatic ever ran Cho'Gall? Ever? In your history of knowing them?
In an official game, I don't think so. But to be honest, you catch me a bit off guard with that question. I'm thinking about it, but I know that Liquid played it, Expert played it. There was a few
Trix
others like Trick played it. There were a few other teams that threw it in every now and then, but I don't think that Fnatic actually did it. I mean, Cho'Gall, of course, like as a bit of a joke here, with Leoric taken, he's one of the % damage dealers. We have Malthael banned out. They're not going to take it, but like if anything like this is how you would prepare such a draft. But yeah, of course, that's not going to happen here. Rhaegar now going to be taken as we have Malthael banned out over Rhaegar, so Fnatic still gets that choice of healers, and with Uther claimed, Rhaegar is the logical consequence. And now with Falstad, that's 2 globals already for Fnatic right away. So they are able to take both of them. They have Falstad for rotations, they have ETC then with Stage Dive if they feel the need for it, but they can also play the Mosh Pit card here. They have Vala against them, of course, with interrupts. So there's a couple of interrupts available, since the Ducks can also now draft additional ones. But Fnatic is also known to really play a lot around their globals.
Incoming Brightwing for 5th pick, happening for Fnatic. Gonna call it right now. Playing Ducks on their 4th and 5th side. Arthas could be pretty solid here. They move into a Gyarados, though, and they take a Brightwing themselves.
Right. Yeah, there's the global, and in a double support role, Brightwing is actually pretty okay. So Gyarados now being taken here as well. Yeah, I like Gyarados. The thing is, so far in Europe, I don't really think he has had the impact. In North America, he is chosen a lot more often, and I feel that over there, the value that you get out of Gyarados is also a lot stronger, whereas in Europe, the hero just doesn't have the success rate. Has a very, very low win ratio at this point, and most players, I think the team that played him the most in Europe was still Expert, where Bad Benny has his own approach to it, but Gyarados now for the Ducks might be something that can definitely toy with Fnatic here.
Yeah, I think Gyarados has 3 wins, a total of 7 losses, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, 3 and 7, it sounds correct, yep.
So the Gyarados and the Brightwing here. What I do like what the Ducks have is if they do get it engaged and they have the Brightwing and the Uther nearby, you have a Polymorph into a stun. That target is probably going to be dead if they can get the engage they want. Fnatic on the other side here, thinking about their 5th pick. What do they want to grab? They are going to pick up Rexar.
Okay.
All right, Fnatic. I see you. Not quite Cho'Gall. Close enough, though.
Misha against Gyarados. Battle of the Beasts.
Battle of the Beasts, indeed. The Rexar can control Tempo as well. That's why you see him on like Brax's Hold Out or something, because he can usually control points, but...
It feels like Wooby is sick today and they subbed in Hydra. That's kind of what it feels like.
I mean, it's not Dragonshire or Brax where we normally see it, but Sky Temple?
Okay, coming back to Hydra, did he ever care which map it was?
That's true.
Yeah, so he just loved to play Rexar.
You just want to play Rexar all day.
Yeah. So yeah, we get to see some Rexar play here, and that's not quite what I expected for that solo lane, but it's definitely an interesting touch here, and it can be quite annoying. They don't have too many tools to jump on him, to be honest.
On top of the Rexar on the back, yeah. You usually want to be able to have some kind of dive, kill him before Misha can be effective, especially after she uses the charge. Vala has the world to vault in, but when a Vala's vaulting in and trying to force a fight, it usually doesn't work out too well for her.
I just want to see it now. Like, I want to see a little bit more Rexar play here, and let's see how that's going to work out for them. But the Ducks have a pretty solid lineup. For us, of course, it's all about experiencing how they are going to deal with their front line here. As we're heading into game number 1, Sky Temple is the map. Fnatic going up against the Playing Ducks, ladies and gentlemen.
And here it is on the left side. In the blue, it will be Fnatic. Quacknix will be your fall set players. Schwimpy playing Genji. Gonna have Smexy on Rhaegar, Breeze on ETC, and showcasing Rexar today. It will be Wubby.
And to the right side of the map, we have the Ducks with Wolfjo on Uther, Nanda on Brightwing, the double heal composition for the team in red. Sportbile at that front line in his new tank role, playing Garrosh. Vala, of course, played by Chris, and then Eternal rocking Leori here.
Misha will run over to the temple and be the potential sacrifice to slow down the fight being thrown around by Sportbilly. But look in the middle, this is all a distraction as Fnatic charges forward and they look for a turret. Can they grab it? Looking like the answer is going to be no as Wolfjo comes in and brings a stun for Schwimpy.
Now what are you talking about? You don't sacrifice Misha. Misha is the main attraction of the duo.
I mean, some would say that, others would not. I leave it up to you to decide.
You have to show me those people. I need to talk to them. All right, so Wubby this time finds himself up at the top lane where Eternal has already taken position here. So we're going to see that Misha play over there. At the same time, level 1, the build with Bird of Prey, so the extra... It's just about the extra wave play. You get a bit more pressure onto the lane. You have an easier time there. Keep in mind that with Garrosh, we're also seeing Billy adopt the playstyle of Bad Denny, at least on level 1 with a body check.
That level 1 going to help out with the wave clear there for Rexar. And when the minions are lined up and running towards you, dropping that Q off will give you a good lead into the fight. Same time, Playing Ducks are looking for some engages. Following around Sportbilly on that Garrosh, trying to force a fight, but Quacknix, wise and intelligent, will jump over the wall and be safe.
Yeah, so Quacknix is able to dodge everything down here and is safe for now. The Global, of course, going to be one of the biggest assets that they're going to have then later on.
Here's a fancy thing that Rexar can't do. He can also soak the lane while leaving Misha on top of the temple. You're able to soak, you'll also be able to keep moving in. They even set up a gank here on Eternal. Sadly, the charge misses out there from Wubby, but still, very annoying to deal with.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty understandable that the charge actually missed. Misha hasn't really been playing for a lot of time, so she's a little bit over-enthusiastic at this point, and also just like full of energy, hype for the charge.
Yeah.
Gets in a bit too early. Once that Misha calms down, it's definitely going to be a lot more tricky for the Ducks to go up against her. But at this point, she's just really excited to be here.
Lack of practice there from Rexar.
I mean, it happens.
I'm kind of curious to see how ETC and Misha are going to work together. A power slide hitting 2 to 3 people has a follow-up from Misha with that charge. Can lock down targets for a solid amount of time for Genji to be able to work in his damage with that Dragon Blade, even Falset landing a hammering. If the fights go the way Fnatic want, it could be deadly.
Yeah, and right now, Fnatic is in a pretty solid spot here. They have pressure on nearly every single lane. We have the Grizzle 42 taken on level 4, so it's all about the physical armor and your charges. We have, I mean, it's all about the sustain at this point. If you can make Misha just this annoying force in every single team fight and set her onto a target in the backline and just help the zone, that already is a huge win. And then it should always keep you in the solo lane, of course, also in a very nice spot. And Leoric has already suffered quite a bit. With the temple claimed earlier, we're having the top fort nearly eliminated, and that of course also means that the fountain is taken out, and that takes a lot of the sustain away that Leoric would like to have on that lane. So in the long run, he's going to miss out heavily against it.
Yeah, curious to see what we're going to get at level 10 here. Will we get Unleash the Boars, or will we be able to see Misha get all charged up? And if she is charged up with those tanky talents that you're being picked up at level 4, you can literally sick the Misha on top of Vala, and Vala has to kite backwards, dumping resources into that Misha. Probably going to need some help from her teammates as well, because she's the solo carry here for the Playing Ducks, which means at that point, you're watching Falset and Genji just pick whoever they want. Yeah,
the one thing that I want to see is what Leoric actually does, because I think there's a couple of targets that he would really love to get with an Entomb, but as we said before, with the new Leoric in play, normally what you see is him going into the March of the Black King, since one of the thought process behind Leoric's new build is that with a level 13 talent, you move in, you hit the damage dealers and try to reduce that damage, and then you try to wreak havoc in the backline. And oftentimes using March of the Black King is one of those survival tools that you have to just get yourself up to full health again. So that is going to be interesting to watch as well, once that level 10 is of course hit.
Level 7 pickup here for the Rexar as Aspect of the Beast. This is a wonderful talent for Misha if you want to be able to get that Misha charge up and ready to go. The cooldown reduction for every auto attack is 1.25 seconds, which means if you're able to continue working in those auto attacks, you will have charges popping out left and right, which allows for you to control the flow of battle.
It's an insane cooldown reduction talent, like definitely one of the best when, as far as cooldown reduction itself goes. Misha thrown around, having quite a bit of fun there, but getting the stun in too. Now Falstad is up at that top lane, Brightwing already rotating down, which means that Fnatic is getting value out of the top lane soak. And they are likely to push this into the fort. At the same time, question is of course, are they going to move down, try and contest the temple? Doesn't look likely, with Shrimpy already taking a bit of a punishment here in the mid lane.
Smexy coming in here, scouting the bushes to make sure that his teammate would not get picked off. Swimpy there on the Genji. Wow, dodging out on the fight, but not enough as Chris comes over, brings out the kills, and Playing Ducks will be able to take out Smexy. But still, that experience lead is quite worrisome for the Playing Ducks. As a fort in the top right being killed, definitely hurts.
It was the first blood on the other hand, so for the Ducks, they get the first kill in the game. We have double cleanse, by the way, for the Ducks now with a hand of protection on 7 and cleanse on Brightwing. At the top lane, Falstad is still doing his thing, and even with the Ducks getting the channel through at the bot lane and eliminating a fort, that experience that you've been talking about is definitely there. It's a small one, but it exists, and I don't think that they actually saw this. Garrosh was just moving out, but I'm not sure if he caught up on that. Now Wolf Joe sees it. Okay, Wolf Joe has the vision. They don't see them on the map, and he's willing to go for it. But the level 10 is there, and it's only there on the side of Fnatic.
Brightwing is working on 10 here. She will get it on the top right side. With the boss going down to a little under half health, Fnatic is dancing around the corner. They're not going to force this too much with Emerald Wind being picked up and Garrosh being able to control the choke. It's not worth it to fully engage.
That's always awkward, though. They keep the aggro. That's always super awkward if you have that situation where both of them move away from the boss and you know that the opponent could try and steal it away. So do they let it leash, or are they going to try and keep the aggro up? Okay, leash is going through, and then Fnatic, they're just not willing to fight over it. They have, of course, a lot of tools with the Mighty Gust and the potential Mosh Pit that they could have used for it, but then again, on the other side, we have the Marcher and the Black King on the point, we have Emerald Wind and the Divine Shield, so there's a lot of tools where you can work around that. Even Leoric just ghosting in can ruin the plan to capture the spot with a quick Mighty Gust, so Fnatic is playing it safe.
And it's going to be the Bestial Wrath here for the Rexar, which means Misha will be able to get a solid amount of extra auto attack damage for a total of 12 seconds. Vala will have a hard time dealing with that, but not if Wubby gets caught. Playing Ducks move in on the bottom side, find and engage. We're going to have Garrosh tossing the Rexar into a fight, and the Ducks will get their second kill of the game.
Fnatic is playing around the Ducks a lot, though. With Rexar dying in the kill count, the Ducks are definitely leading. But if you just now look at the top lane, this pressure play that we're seeing continuously from Fnatic is starting to become extremely annoying. That top lane is definitely suffering, and this is something that Fnatic is going to try and exploit later on. I love how the Ducks are reacting to it, though. They are just trying to push. They're not always just simply reacting, trying to defend. Instead, they're just trading. Of course, it becomes dangerous if you are trading in the mid lane forward up to the top keep, but so far the keep itself hasn't really taken any damage. And to be honest, the Ducks are now starting to take a slight lead in experience.
They're also going to control the temple here in the middle, looking for another fight. They find Wubby by himself. He does kite backwards. Breeze, on the other hand, is in a position to set up his team for plays. If face melts right onto a Thurno, will get the Leoric down to a low amount of health. Luckily, with Wolf Joe bringing out the heal, he'll live just fine, but this allows Fnatic to step forward and grab the temple.
Yeah, now we could even see Wubby starting to move down with Misha or someone else trying to grab the second temple too. With all the structures that have been taken out by both teams, we are going to see the temples attack keeps super fast in this game. Talking about keeps, it looks like Sportwheel might actually fall. He's incredibly low and barely gets out of it. Someone called Peter. Can't accept that. Yeah, Misha down. But we still have the temple nearly soaked, but it's the last few shots that go over to Team Playing Ducks. From a structural point of view, they've also taken the lead here. Now Genji finds himself at the bot lane already, but Fnatic's biggest problem is that they don't have the level 13 talent, or they didn't until this moment.
They're trying to catch Brightwing, who may be by herself in the middle. Breeze is going for it, but Nande playing safe enough to be able to back on up. Misha spawns, but once again gets sacrificed here. Thrown into the middle of the fight, getting low on health. The heal, is it enough to keep her alive? Engage on the Garrosh. Divine Shield will be used, and Quatnix gets put against the wall.
Yeah, Misha still lives. Tim has very little faith in her, but I believe so. Yeah, Misha not getting sacrificed, going in deep as the heroic bear that she is, and makes sure that she just confuses the opponent, pushes them back, nearly taking one of the team, but still with another stun here. Good cleanse coming out as Sportbilly is pressured by Misha as well, but she'll be back.
And that's why I didn't believe in Misha. Falling underneath the fort, diving a little bit too far. The Playing Ducks have found a small window to move in for a fight.
Creating space.
She did create space.
Yeah, you see.
What a nice gal.
Exactly.
Temple being grabbed here, put some damage on the fort. With Misha coming back soon, the Playing Ducks decide to give up on this fort. We'll grab the Giants instead and push in the middle.
Like, let's talk about Rek'Sai a little bit. So one of the main arguments against Rek'Sai is oftentimes that Rek'Sai is very vulnerable against any kind of flank. So if you can protect him and you are in a setup where your opponent doesn't have a lot of dive, then Rek'Sai can actually get a lot of value for you. You have stuns, you need to have the control properly, but Misha is actually incredibly annoying later on in the game as well. With the Bestial Wrath now and also the Wildfire Bear taken, you have just this constant threat towards your opponent's backline in every single fight, and it can really just destroy you. Just a question if can you keep Rek'Sai alive, and that's important. So if you're going up against any kind of melee assassin that has a gap closers that they can use to just simply go onto Rek'Sai and try and take him down, that can become a problem. But Fnatic is now having a really cool tool in their arsenal because of the draft that the Ducks have with those double supports. So it's just a back and forth game. It's just kills is something that Fnatic hasn't gotten yet. But then again, they're also still working on their quest talent. So Proc, for example, isn't completed yet. They're at 14 out of 20 stacks, Gathering Globes. And they have, for Quacknix, 33 stacks currently on Season Marksman. So another 7 are needed to complete the quest. And then it's still going to stack farther up for the extra damage. And that's going to hurt in the long run Garrosh, and in particular, Leoric.
On the other side, we also have the Vala, who hasn't quite finished her quest either. She's at 60 out of the 100 stacks. So quests definitely coming online for both of our teams. Have had a lot less brawling than I expected, but partly because Fnatic has been trying to do their best to move around the map and play macro.
There's another reason. One of the main reasons why we actually don't see a kill for Fnatic yet is we have 2 cleanses available.
Yeah.
That's actually huge, because we've seen so many stuns where either ETC or Misha have provided a stun for a potential kill, and especially Garrosh was able to move out several times because there's always a cleanse available for the opponent's team. Even if you used already one, the chances of them having a cleanse available are extremely high. So they just need to make sure that both support players, Nand and Wolfjo, coordinate and communicate their cleanse properly. In this case, there was no way for anybody to help out, so Fnatic is finally netting that kill that they were waiting for so long.
About to fly in, they're going in for a charge. You're going to have ETC in the front. He gets taunted by Sport Billy, and Breeze is down.
Yeah, Breeze dead. That mosh pit just didn't go through the way he wanted it to. So if they have an opportunity to land that mosh, that might have been it. But in this particular setup, it got interrupted, set back to a mini cooldown, and that in the end was the end of ETC himself. Now the teams are both on level 16. Uther is not back yet, but he will be in a few seconds. And we're of course still waiting for Breeze to appear too. Royal Focus and Ominous Wrath have been taken for Leoric as expected. Cooldown reduction is the name of the game. But as it happens, there's another kill. 4 kills against 1. The Ducks taking a massive lead in kills. In structures, both of the teams are, or will soon be reduced to their keeps on the map. There's 2 temples active.
The Playing Ducks holding their own against Fnatic on their best battleground. We'll move into the temple here in the middle. They have Brightwing on the top side. We have Misha being thrown over the wall, but Sport Billy is going to go ahead and block him from escaping. Misha eventually does fall again.
I mean, at this point, seriously, if you're an open division team and you're watching the Ducks right now, you're just like frightened out of your mind. You're, hey guys, we need to win those playoffs because we are not going up against the Ducks. That's just not happening. So, yeah, right now, Temple is taken. Keep in mind, there's a second one active. And Falstad has a Season Marksman quest completed, so that is going to help. And Brightwing at the top lane needs to be careful. Emerald Wind is available, though, so there's still a bit of a panic button that can be used.
She escapes. Does fine. Now this is where the keep wall being killed on the top side is good for Fnatic. They're able to siege on that keep on the right side. But the Playing Ducks, the moment that Nande shouted out, okay, there's 2 to 3 people in the top lane, they turn around, they look at a boss, and Fnatic knows that it's possibly happening, but aren't here in time as they rotate down, and the boss is grabbed by the Ducks.
I am absolutely loving how the Ducks currently play. It's really so cool to see them last week, to see them this week, just completely stepping it up from before. And as Chris mentioned, it might be too late to prevent them from going to the Crucible, but at the same time, they are now just playing better than ever. Figuring it out a bit earlier would have really helped them, but especially when they are playing in the Crucible, this change has just completely giving them a lot of new momentum within the team and just changed the entire dynamic of how they play, and I think it's absolutely incredible. I mean, look at this insane push down at the bot lane. This is going to be a keep. We have Siege Giants in the back, and they're just going in for it. Misha is down once again. They go for Quacknix. Nice gust after we saw the cleanse come through, so good job by Smexy as well, but this keep is still a goner.
And Eternal's going forward here, getting Schwimpy low on his damage. There is going to be another Q Q popping out here from Garrosh. Doesn't connect with anyone, so the Playing Ducks, after grabbing the keep, will go for and disengage. Fnatic, hoping to keep them here, goes in for their own fight, but Breeze on the left side is being pelted by Chris.
Yeah, and Leoric is still alive, able to make it through here. Now, of course, there's still the potential for a good mosh pit if Breeze lands a good power slide, but there are interrupts available for the opponent too. Quacknix and his boys are starting to go for a potential kill. Yes, Leoric is low and is going to fall for sure. Trying to get the Wraith Walk through to at least reduce the damage a little bit. Shrimpy chasing, making sure that they are not on their mounts anymore. So that opens up an opportunity for Breeze to close the gap here. And Misha is also on the run. So at this point, they're just waiting for a stun. Polymorph had to be used too. There's the throw, that's the stun, and they could go for it. Maybe even drop a mosh pit here.
Sportbilly seems to be the target with 2 others inside though. Sportbilly shouldn't be falling. Falstad even flying in after clearing out the middle lane. Garrosh continues to be focused down. Sportbilly getting lower and lower. Finally, Garrosh will fall.
Yeah, and that was the kill. They chased hard for this one. They're still behind in experience, but still, this is starting to become a very awesome match here. And of course, Fnatic still, their win streak is at 16-0 at this point. They would love to make another 3-0 in this particular best of 5 to increase that even further. They lost the keep though, but at the top lane, a keep has been eliminated as well, so it's a trade. Top lane is pushing against the Ducks, bottom lane is pushing against Fnatic, and Fnatic is now also starting with that temple that they're currently controlling at the bottom of the map to put the added pressure onto the keep at the bot lane as well.
Yeah, Genji was able to grab that keep on the top side before the boss pushed in, and that's what enabled Nande to come in on the phase shift right wing and force the keep on the bottom side. But right now, the experience lead that Playing Ducks were able to grab a lead on is starting to diminish, especially with this keep about to get picked off. Quacknix doing its best to help push in this bottom side. And there it is. Second keep of the game. Going down here for the Playing Ducks, while Fnatic has only lost 1.
Yeah, and both of them are now closing in on level 20 talents. But still, with Fnatic is in the lead, no doubt. But this is definitely a much closer match that a lot of people expected here heading into it. So right now, we have the level 20s already claimed by Fnatic. Ducks are hitting that any second now. And at this point, we're having Phorexa, the hardened skin taken. We see, of course, Dragon becomes me. Top lane pressure. Eternal is moving in with his 20 as well. Went straight into the Burning Despair. And the Firefly Quiver. Titanic Might taken. You can now throw 2. And Fnatic, keep in mind that Fnatic still has the big global available and the mobility on Genji, so they can always sneak around a bit. And with Quacknix just simply burning waves away thanks to the boomerang, they can try and push these lanes out. They just need to be careful that nobody moves in, since once that he is flanked, he will have no chance to moving away, especially with Brightwing, of course, having Polymorph available, Uther with stuns, Garrosh as well, so it's rough. It's one of the reasons why at this point Quacknix hasn't even chosen his 20 yet. He has made some pretty sick plays with the Wind Tunnel in the past, and we have also seen how much of an effect it can have if you go for Nexus Frenzy, but the normal choice, of course, on a big map would be to go into the Epic Mount.
Epic Mount, allowing you to disengage on those fights if you were to split off, still waiting for that level 20 to decide if he wants to go in for it. There is a boss up and available in about 50 seconds. If the Playing Ducks can't find an angle to move in for a fight, they always have the stress or the issue of trying to force that fight down there. Yeah,
and that's a really good argument for Wind Tunnel as well. If it happens to end up in that fight over a boss, Wind Tunnel can really be the one decisive factor that tells you, okay, do I get the boss or does my opponent to get it? And with both teams not having a keep at the bot lane anymore, that can be the play that makes or breaks the game. Also, we're having Breeze not taking his 20 yet either. So both of them are waiting for the situation where the game is decided. Is it going to be a team fight over a temple, or is it going to be a boss fight? Because if it's a boss fight, the chances of Breeze going into death metal are insanely high.
Well, with 2 temples and a boss being available soon for our teams, they'll have to figure out how they're going to control this area. We have Nande defending the catapult push and the Night Camps that are pushing on the top right side. Look in the middle here as Garrosh is about to go in for an engage on the top, but Wubby Mounted is doing his best to dance. He's actually buying time here. Yeah. He can demount them while the rest of Fnatic has moved in. They killed Brightwing. They're going for the core.
They're going for the core. And we have the portals interrupted up at the top. Sportbilly can't get back. Leoric also not back yet. Here comes the Wind Tunnel right now. We have Bolt of the Storm being used by Breeze, and Fnatic is going for it. The Ducks are already down to 40%. Here comes the Mosh Pit, and they get 2 with it. Leoric trying to reduce the damage output, but it's just not enough. Fnatic goes in and gets the win on map number 1, increasing their win streak to 17-0.
I'm ashamed. For a second there, I actually doubted Fnatic on their best battleground. I thought maybe Playing Ducks were going to pull it off.
I mean, they look good. Again, the Ducks look like a completely different team. And we've been going on over this in phase 1, in phase 2, like the entire time, how much of a huge talent pool they have in their team, but it never really worked out for them. Now with that change to tank, we finally see all of that hard work coming into play and being reflected in the way they present themselves. And they look strong here. Fnatic is still Fnatic, but the Ducks look better than ever.
Yeah, they got the engages they wanted. Their movement was great. They had a couple of great picks in the early game. Even having that bold move to moving for the boss on the bottom side, simply because they understood the rotations that were happening from Fnatic. The Playing Ducks are a team here that, when their shot calling is on point, they are just scary. And it's been the same thing for the last 3 weeks. We keep talking about it, but the Crucible, in a couple weeks, I don't know if they can lose it.
Me neither. And we talk about some fantastic teams that are coming through the open division right now. I mean, we always highlight two, Bushido Esports and Leftovers. Those are the two teams. Lauber's team, first of all, they're currently the #1 in the play, or heading into the playoffs. They are the #1. Bushido Esports with Lucifron and Vortex, the Spanish brothers, they are sitting right at #2. Have a couple of former Team Liquid players there as well, with Get 'em Head, for example. So it's an absolutely fantastic ensemble of great teams that we have in the playoffs here in Europe for the open division. But then you go up against, first of all, the Playing Ducks, and of course against the good guys, the two teams that are in the Crucible in Europe, and you have your choice there. And the Ducks look so scary at this point. If they would have started with that change on Sportbilly on tank into part 2, phase 2, I am pretty sure we would talk about them currently holding a very solid playoff spot.
Well, for now, they are in the Crucible, and we'll have to worry about that in the next couple of weeks. But we're also worrying about BlizzCon. It's going to be in a few weeks itself. And we have the global cheer bar here as we continue to look for that last mount that can be unlocked. We continue to get closer and closer here as we are at 22,758,551.
Big numbers. Trick being a champ right now. Improved a lot since week 1 or when it was.
What happened is I actually just went home and started counting. One by one all the way to the top there to make sure
All
I
the
could
way up
save
to
it.
the top?
Yeah. I
Okay.
spent about 9 hours doing that. It was
Yeah.
good. It was good. I do that for you at home. You're welcome.
Okay, I'm actually wondering right now if in 9 hours you could count
You
that
don't
high.
have to take it so literal. Stop.
No, but I know.
Just throw out a number sometimes
I'm just curious.
to go with the joke. Like, that's all it is. Like,
It's still interesting, isn't it?
I guess
Do you think you could count that high in 9 hours? Is
it
that
would
possible?
that'd probably take a couple days.
Yeah,
think.
it takes a lot
A
longer.
million
right?
would be a long time.
Yeah.
Let's go to the battleground for game number 2 here. As it's going to be Infernal Shrines picked up by Fnatic. We're going to have the Playing Ducks take first pick again.